Hey, everybody, I'm Leon Thomas, the co host of NRG This Week, here with NRG President and CEO Mike Weiner. Mike, how's it going?
I am doing whoa. I am doing phenomenal, Leon. How are you?
Wow, we're doing okay. That didn't sound so phenomenal, but here's what we're going to do we're going to run the opening video, and we'll be right back and talk about what's making you so phenomenal. Here we go. Welcome to NRG This Week. Everybody, welcome to another episode of NRG This Week. I'm Leon Thomas. That's Mike Weiner. He's the president and CEO of Network Referral Group. Hey, Mike, what's happening? You said you were phenomenal. What's going on to make you feel such a way?
Leon, we are not going to back into the holidays this year. NRG is soaring. We've got a new lifetime membership, and we've got a program for the members that if they refer 10 people by January 15th to me that join, they've got a lifetime membership. Unbelievable. Plus, Leon, we are going to the new states in January. We're going to have a twilight group for the West Coast. We're going to Colorado. We're going into Chicago. We're going into Arkansas, home of where Brooks Robinson was from. It's all coming in 2024, Leon. It's going to be phenomenal.
It
And I am
sounds like it.
fired up.
It
Fired up.
sounds like you're fired up because it's going to be a phenomenal, fiery year. Okay, I'm not the marketing guy here, all right. So don't count me in on all that. But I noticed how you threw a baseball reference into this.
I did. Brooks
Yeah,
Robinson, my favorite of all time.
your
Absolutely.
favorite. So,
But I'm
Mike,
really excited, Leon.
tell
It's
me
it's
about
great
this deal.
holiday time.
Now, how's this going to work? If I refer how many people to you, I get a lifetime membership or what? Tell me more about that.
The value of a lifetime membership is $5,000. I have a member who's made hundreds of thousands in a year. He's going to commit to a lifetime membership in January. But for the other folks, they can refer 10 to me by email, text, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Once those 10 join, voila, they've got a lifetime membership, never to pay me again because of their efforts referring people to us. And we got a lot of people, Leon, that are going to do this, and we're going to recognize them on NRG this week. We're going to recognize on the website, and I know we got a big event coming up here on the 29th. Our second annual, what are we calling it? I forgot what we're calling it.
I
Uh,
can't remember what it's this the second annual Come On NRG and Tell Us About You show. I don't know what the official name is, but
it's
you get the
uh,
idea. Maybe you have it written down there.
I
But listen,
it's
folks,
going to be fun.
you want information about Network Referral Group, you can email Mike. His email address is on the screen. That's Mike at networkreferralgroup.com. You could also send him a text message. His phone number is 443 756 9656, and the NRG website is nrg.online. And this is NRG This Week. I'm Leon Thomas. Mike, we have two guests with us today. Go ahead and tell us about those guests. We'll bring them on and have a groovy conversation with them.
We've got two amazing guests today. We've got Nick from Pitch 59. It's much more than a digital business card. It's changing the way companies are doing business. Nick was referred from another NRG member. He's going to talk about this. It's a great way to do introductions. And then I've got Robert, who he does property and casualty and commercial insurance. He's out of Pittsburgh. One of the most motivational, inspirational guys I've ever met. Robert and I have become good friends. He's now in his second year with NRG. So we got Nick from Utah. We got Robert from Pittsburgh, and we're going to bring them out and we're going to have Leon talk with them a little bit, and then I will jump in.
All right, let's bring them on. Hey, Nick. Hey, Robert. It's good to have you here on the show. Good to have you here. So, guys, listen. Now, Robert, you're from Pittsburgh?
So Erie, Pennsylvania, but that's
No, timeout. Stop. Hold it now. Mike said Pittsburgh. It's not.
Pittsburgh
Erie
grew.
is not Pittsburgh. Mike,
That's
what
true.
What, you don't know the Pennsylvania geography here? He's from Pitt. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away, isn't it, Robert?
He's in the Pittsburgh group. There you go.
He's
He's
in the
from Erie, but he's in
Pittsburgh
the
group.
Pittsburgh group.
Because Robert, I was going to ask them to kick you out of the show because we already have a producer who came from Pittsburgh. All right. Let the truth be told. I lived in Pittsburgh for a while too. Went to college there, worked there, coached basketball there, started a hotel career there. So Pittsburgh's okay.
They got like a river. We got a lake the size of an ocean. So,
Ooh, there we go. And hey, Nick, you're in Utah, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's where I'm living right now.
All right, right on. So, Robert, let's start with you. Give me 30 seconds. Tell us about your business.
So we're insurance counselors. I own the Lafaro Insurance Agency. We handle people's property and casualty. That's home, auto, business insurance is what I specialize in, and some life insurance. Our value proposition is what we bring to the table is we take the time to analyze people's assets, identify their exposures, so we can minimize their risks and help reduce their losses by designing complete insurance plans to fit their needs while providing the utmost service.
All right, right on. And Nick in Utah. Now, what city in Utah, Nick?
So I'm living in Orem.
Orem, never heard of it.
It's okay. It's about a 45 minutes south of Salt Lake.
45 minutes south of where?
Salt Lake City.
South of Salt Lake City. So,
Yes,
Nick, when someone usually tells me they're from a town, let me show you what I usually do, and then we'll get to your business. Let me show you what I usually do. Robert, this is pretty cool. This is like the greatest joke ever. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you how cool it is. All right, so here we go. So, Nick, what city are you in?
I'm in Orem.
Shut up. No way. You're in Orem?
Heck yeah, man.
Unbelievable. And usually at that point, someone says, you're from Orem too? You've heard of it? Now, it only works with like small towns, right? Like Roxborough, North Carolina, Virgilina, Virginia. It doesn't work with, you're from Pittsburgh. It doesn't work with that, but you get the idea. Go ahead, Nick. Tell us about your business.
No, you're good. And I mean, even on the Orem thing, I mean, it's a pretty small town, but we've got two universities in the area here, just adjoining cities. So between the two of them, they got about, I want to say, almost 70,000 students between the two of them. So it's somewhat decent. But anyways, Pitch 59. Ultimately, people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. And so we make it super simple and easy for people to refer and introduce other people from their network utilizing your 59-second elevator pitch. So we make referrals and introductions super easy through three-way introductions, and make it so people can refer you in less than 10 seconds. We built out this software to be able to do that. So.
Okay, right. Sounds really good. Both of you sound like you're doing some really good things that folks need. All right. Everybody's going to have a need for insurance, and every business wants to be able to introduce and meet others, right? So let's talk about your relationship with Mike Weiner and NRG before we bring him back on. Tell me, Nick, how did you get in touch with Mike and NRG? Tell me how that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, ultimately, we love partnering up with different networking organizations, people that are really out there trying to create relationships. And so I was talking with one of our clients, and he was saying, I don't know exactly what you do with these, but I would love to introduce you to Mike Weiner, who's the owner of NRG. And so he made that three-way introduction for me, and it was great. I mean, we hit it off almost immediately and really just had a great conversation from there. Talked about how we can partner up together and really start making things happen. So it was fantastic. Only a few months ago. So
yeah, a few months ago, and here you are now on NRG This Week. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. And Robert, how about you? How did you get in touch with Mike Weiner and NRG?
So myself and two others have been running our own networking organization for now about the last 11 years. We do monthly networking events at local businesses, so the brick and mortar type of deal. And one of our members had invited somebody who was a member of NRG. So he offered me an invitation, and I was sold before the end of the first session. NRG has a dynamic that is much like ours. Mike is just an individual that creates such an energetic and positive environment. And you are who the company are that you keep. And his members remind me a lot of our members. They're motivated. but more importantly, they're driven to support each other. And that's something that I've always been just truly fond of with our group. I can never get over how often our members will constantly cross network and try and generate leads and make connections for the members. I saw this in NRG, in addition to the fact that they offer this platform where you can attend other sessions in other states. And so you're like virtually travel vicariously, right? So between that with Mike and the helm, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. That's right. So let's bring Mike on. And while we're bringing Mike back in on the stage, I want to tell y'all how I met Mike, and then we'll turn it over to Mike, let Mike go ahead and talk with us some. So let's bring Mike on the screen. And so here's how I met Mike. I used to be in the hotel business, 35 years in the hotel business. And one of the things I did was I went around and fixed troubled hotels, or I went to hotels that were new and helped them open. And I was opening a Hilton Garden Inn in Columbia, Maryland. And I was at some event, when you're a new business. Back then, you went around, shook all the hands, kissed the babies, eat the rubber chicken, all of that kind of stuff, right? So I'm there, and Mike comes up to me, introduces himself, and he says, "What's the top account in this area?" And I told him the name of the company was MITRE, MITRE Corp. And he says, "Do you have their business?" I said, "No." He says, "Come on, let's go." Now, I'd known the guy like maybe 10 minutes at this point, right? He says, "Come on, let's go." I go, "Where are we going?" He says, "We're going over to talk to them. We're going to talk to the people in the training department because that's where most of the business comes from." So I get in the car with this guy. We go through a McDonald's drive-through, right? And I think I was even training to run a marathon at the time, and I'm eating McDonald's, sucking on grease, right? We drive up to this company. He parks in the handicap spot, and I go, "You can't park here." "Yeah, don't worry about it." We walk in. There's a security officer there. Guy's like got a 38 on his hip or something, and he goes, "Hey, Bob, how you doing? We're just going to go upstairs and see Tammy," or whatever her name was. We go up because, "Hey, this is Leon from the Hilton Garden Inn. He's been trying to get in touch with you. Y'all work it out." 2 days later, I got a signed contract for all of their training business. 2 days later, right? That's way back then, and I hear he's still doing it now. Except, Mike, you're doing it virtually now. You're in all kind of states, and you're bringing people together like Nick and Robert. I'm just loving it, man. So go ahead, Mike. You talk to Nick and Robert, but here's what I want to do. I'll kind of lead into it. Nick, Robert, tell me how you got involved in what you do. How did you get started in what you're doing? Robert, you go first, then Nick, and then Mike, you take it from there.
All right, man. Well, thanks, buddy. Hey, Robert.
Former criminal justice major from Gannett University, a local university, and I was in that system, and I decided to broaden my interest. Erie Insurance, who's a company we happen to represent, is locally domiciled here in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I thought insurance might provide some nice opportunities. So in the process of doing that, I got to apply for a position at a nice gentleman that started his agency to represent Erie Insurance back in 1969. It went off wonderfully. He hired me, and a year later, he passed away. And 3 years after that, his wife remarried a widowed agent as well, asked if I wanted to buy the business. I bought the business, hit the ground running even harder, and never stopped.
Right on.
Awesome.
Right on.
Appreciate
what about
it,
you,
Robert.
Nick?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was actually a pre-med student in doing my bachelor's in college, and as I was doing that, I figured I should probably know how to run a business. If I'm ever going to own a practice or clinic someday, I should probably really study that. And so I decided to take a business class, and in that process, I was required to go to a career fair at my school. And at that career fair, I actually saw a table that said Pitch 59 on it. I stopped and talked to the guys that were there, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I could totally get behind something like this. Not even thinking about medical school and all that. And kind of in the moment, just there in the heat of the moment, I was like, are you guys hiring right now? And they said, yeah, actually, I think we have a position available. And I said, wow, okay. I don't know what that means for me. I mean, we'll see what happens. But after talking it through with my wife and trying to figure out what we wanted to do, we decided to kind of take the leap. And so that was about just over a year and a half ago. And I started like a month and a half later from that conversation. and have absolutely been loving it. It's been amazing.
Awesome. All right. So appreciate Leon. So that's a pretty cool story. That story is back about 25 years, guys. That's how long Leon and I have
Wow.
known each other. All right. So Robert, I'm going to start with you. Couple questions for both of you, and I'm going to piggyback and forth. So, Robert, you're an amazing guy, very inspirational, motivational. That we're recording this. It's going to be on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. When someone calls Robert Lafaro, what are they getting? What are some of the maybe proprietary things? What makes you unique? There's a lot of folks doing insurance. We know that, right? So
Exactly.
I know how special you are, but what makes you very unique when someone may see this today and they're a new business? So talk to us a little bit about what someone gets when they work with Robert Lafaro.
Well, I myself have been in the industry for over 25 years, kind of immersed into it, live and breathe it. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that there's room for. My staff write the home and auto insurance with Erie Insurance, one of the highest rated carriers in the country. So most competitive pricing, best product selection, et cetera. That makes that easy. On the commercial side, I handle the commercial side, and I train my folks. Listen, our value proposition is to sit down, take the time to sit down and identify all the exposures. We're not about writing a policy and moving on to the next sale. We're here about protecting people's livelihood and interest and assets. If you don't do that correctly, in my opinion, you really should find another career. The last thing we want to have is an uncovered claim. So we take the time to do that. And it's probably the most common compliment I hear about my ladies in the office. Nobody ever took the time to explain this to me. Because, if insurance was something that everybody understood, they would just take care of it themselves. And with how the rules and legislation, everything changes, dynamics, like current day is a great example, especially on the commercial side with cyber liability, terrorism issues, and things of that nature. It's just evolving. And so you really you need a counselor who's immersed, educated in that to lead you down the correct path to make sure that when you have a loss, there are no unsuspecting surprises.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. So, Nick, what's your vision for Pitch 59? I remember when you came to me and David had referred us, and you're right. We hit it off right away. Yeah, I've been networking for 23 years. I've run probably 15,000 meetings on Zoom and a couple 100,000 live. So I've been in this space for a while, and I get approached by everybody. I thought it was instant, you and I. So what's kind of your vision with Pitch 59? Is it going to just take over the whole marketplace? What's kind of take a minute or two, and I'm asking big picture. What do you see? Where do you see Pitch 59 going?
Oh yeah. Oh, great question. I would love for it to take over the marketplace. That's the dream, right? We have a very big vision and lots of goals that we have for this company. We see it being everywhere. We want it to be a household name, just as much as you think about like something like LinkedIn. We want you to think about Pitch 59. Ultimately, everybody wants to be able to introduce themselves. Everybody wants to be able to actually share who they are and what they do, and they're really the why, what their purpose is, as trying to get themselves out there more and trying to share their personality. And so ultimately what we're working on right now actually is to be available internationally. We only have availability here in the United States, but we do have people across over 40 states at this point actually that are using Pitch 59, but we want to be out into other countries, and we're working on that right now to be able to go through translation processes and other things that are required. So it's really a big dream where we see millions of people coming on and joining Pitch 59 and really being able to create this huge network of people that are referring and introducing each other, creating referral partnerships, and really just getting out there and building those relationships up to where we believe they can be, and give them access to those people that they wouldn't necessarily have had access to before. That's the dream.
It's awesome. And you're right. LinkedIn's been really big for a while. I can see you guys it's very different what you're doing. It's so creative and I love it. So thank you for that. Robert, I don't want you to mention the client's name, but I'm really curious. What is the most unique industry you've ever insured? You've been doing this a while. So what I'm trying to, if you don't have anyone unique, we'll come up with another question out of the hat. But I'm looking for what is the most unique industry. I want to get across to people how diverse you are. That's why the question.
So I don't know about most unique because we had quite a few. We had an organization that would do seminars for young female adults as far as resources out there for the young ladies that are dealing with issues. We've got an organization right now that is in the process of developing a medical device. We have a second one that's in process of developing and introducing to market a device that monitors people's vitals and will report if they have health issues. We've had companies that export materials from overseas. One was environmental building construction materials, so green, like beam support beams and things of that nature. We have a gentleman I was interested asking Leon about if he knows. He is, because he's in Maryland, and he buys and sells and liquidates hotel furniture. I'm almost wondering if Leon knows him, being in the industry.
Cool.
So yeah, just all over the board.
Awesome. I appreciate that. So Nick, one of the things that I think you just renamed it, you can tell me the new name, Pitch Swap. I've been very intrigued with that since day one. I'd like you to take a 2-minute deep dive into that for our viewers today, because people are going to be interested about Pitch 59. Explain the mindset behind Pitch Swap, and I think you just changed the name of it in the last couple of weeks, maybe month or so. But I've got like 40 different people I'm following up with, and I'm still working on maximizing that. But take us into Pitch Swap and the mindset behind that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So beyond just having your own digital business card with your video on it in Pitch 59, you also have access to the network that we have available on the platform. So anybody that has a pitch card that wants to be found on the platform, they can put themselves into the search engine so that they can be found. Now, we realize that you have this network, you have access to it, but it's really difficult sometimes to know what to do with it. Do you just go out and connect with people and just say, hey, I'd love to talk to you sometime? So we really wanted to kind of automate that process. We made it into what we call what we originally called Pitch Swap, like you said. We just recently changed it over to speed networking because it seems to be a little bit more of a common thing that people recognize, that they would be like, oh, okay, I understand speed networking a lot more than what maybe Pitch Swap. But in the same essence, it's still the same program. So the way that works is that you have your pitch card. When you opt into the speed networking process, it'll actually swap your pitch card with somebody else's on the platform. So they get yours, you get theirs. You can watch each other's elevator pitches, see who the other person is. Then if you decide that you might be able to, purchase from the person or work with them, whatever it may be, great. If you can become referral partners, even better, and just make those connections for each other. So ultimately, speed networking is just that opportunity to be able to connect with people, especially in other states and other areas that you may not have had the opportunity to before. We've got a lot of updates that we're going to be bringing to speed networking to make it even more, more ready to be able for you to utilize it as you're trying to build out your network and trying to build out those relationships. So we're excited for where that's headed.
I love the speed networking. It's such a cool concept because I've met people I never would have met. So, as a business owner, that's really cool. So one last question for both of you. I'll start with Robert. There's a lot of people getting ready for 2024. You got 3 segments in my mind. You got college students who are graduating, working for a company, or maybe starting their own business. You got people that have been in other networking organizations or leads groups. We always call NRG a networking group because we have, the extravaganza and the speaker series and the mastermind and now Pitch 59, so many other things. There's a lot of people watching this, Robert. What would you say to them as far as NRG? They've been in a group that didn't do well, or they've never been in a group. They want to make a decision for 2024. And by the way, if they join now, they get the tax write-off for this year. But what would you say to the folks that are looking at this? Why should they join NRG? Nick, I'm going to ask you the same question. We always wrap up with that. So, Robert, I'll start with you. You and I have worked together 2 years, and we've had some amazing conversations. And, man, you're one of the most motivating guys I've met. I think you're awesome. So share with our viewers, why should they look at NRG?
So for any business owner, networking is just part of the model. It has to be. If you rely on natural business coming in, your growth is going to be minimal. You need that organic growth. You need to reach out. And networking statistically shows that it's successful. It's not a short-term thing. Typically, some business maybe, but typically they've done studies on this. It's usually after about 1.5 years of time investment, you will really see the results and you will see them launch. We've seen that for our own members that have stuck through it with our networking organization. With NRG, there are multiple facets to it that put it above the rest, in my opinion. First of all, the fact that it's Zoom is straightforward. It's convenient. It's weekly. It's consistent. You've got opportunities not only for your area, but Mike, you create a platform that people can attend forums in other states. So, and it's all built in, which is kind of crazy, but it's your baby. You do what you want. And then on top of it, it's like I mentioned to Leon in the beginning, you are the company you keep. And anybody who watches this can see you're a man of positivity, you're energized, you're driven, and you're driven to help each and every one of your members. This is reflected in the members in the company you keep. So I've been to many networking forums, been part of many different organizations, and this is an environment where I'm just always admired the membership and the desire to help one another, to support one another, to brainstorm, to make the connections. Because when you're in business, you're blessed with this, not to keep it for yourself. And this is one of the things that motivates me most about networking. I love taking what I've learned, what I've shared, the resources I have to help others. Again, life is not about you. It's about what you can do for others, just like JFK said. What can you do for them? And Mike, you create the ultimate networking environment that encourages that, attracts those type of people, and it's a positive cycle that just doesn't stop. So it's really a no-brainer. Once you get past the idea that if you want to grow your business, you're serious about it, you need to take the time to network, to reach out. Don't fall into the trap of being the ticket taker, right? That's an easy trap to fall into, and it makes you stale. Organic growth is the best, and it's the most invigorating. And we say if you're ever in a stale position, if you feel motivated, go find some business, because that's the best way to break you out of that. And I can't think of any easier and more effective and fun way to do that than to become part of NRG.
Wow, man, we that's amazing. We got to extract that testimonial. That was amazing, Robert. Man, you got me fired up. But Zig Ziglar said you can get anything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So appreciate you, man. Now, Nick, you and I are just getting to know each other. We definitely have similar mindsets. I can tell that. Same question. A lot of people out there watching this. You've been to my NRG meetings. You've seen the pinball, how it pops everywhere, referrals. What would you say to the folks that are looking? They're scared. They've been in a group that didn't produce. What would you say to Joe? He's been to a group. He was with it for 6 months. I don't know why people stay 1.5 years, 2, 3 years. It takes time, but what would you say to the folks out there as far as looking at NRG, Nick? Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. I wholeheartedly believe in networking. You need to build your network 100% of the time, whenever you have the opportunity to. I completely agree with what Robert said. Ultimately, being able to build out those connections and those relationships with people is so key. I firmly believe that you are very reasonably maybe just one person away from what may be the best deal of your life. And ultimately, that comes through people. We rely on people so much for our business. Everything that we do in our business is related to people. And everything about NRG is really fascinating as well when it comes to be able to build those connections without even having to know or really having a foundation for that in the first place. What's so amazing about NRG is the ability to be able to connect with people that you didn't have the opportunity to before, where you can go and find people in different regions. If you're looking to expand your business to a different area, then you can really build that out. We rely on referrals so much. I mean, we're in the referral and introduction space. We understand that. 82% of business owners, small business owners, rely on referrals as their primary source of growth. But you can't do that unless you have a network to actually rely on referrals from. And so ultimately, building out those relationships, building out those connections, getting the opportunities and taking advantage of them to actually meet people in different areas. NRG just gives it a fantastic platform to be able to do that. We have clients all across the country, like I said before, and to be able to go and meet people from those different areas where I can refer our clients to them where they may not have even thought of that as a possibility, and they can do the same for me. It just gives your ability for your business to have so much more reach than before, and it really expands that capacity that you have. And so I firmly believe in NRG being able to give you that reach, give you that potential to be able to grow and sustain yourself outside of just your local area. It's just such a great opportunity for sure.
I appreciate that, Nick. And it's interesting. You've been with me a couple months. Robert's been with me a few years. It's the culture that we've created. And that's why I say same, different faces, different places, same vibe. We are going to turn it back over to the one, the only. He's got a racquetball revival. Oh, I got that in there, Leon, for you. I'm
I
right on it,
appreciate
dude.
it. Thank you. I
Back to
appreciate it.
Leon.
I
Thomas in
appreciate
the studio.
I appreciate you bringing up Racquetball Revival. That's a youth racquetball program in Baltimore. I'm the executive director and head coach. We have 62 kids playing racquetball in Baltimore, but it's not about the sport. We provide counseling. We've helped 2 families avoid foreclosure. We provide tutoring to families, to kids as well. So it's not about racquetball, but check it all out at racquetballrevival.com. Mike, thanks for bringing that up. Great show today, guys. So I have one final question for Nick and Robert. Robert, we'll go with you first. You mentioned it. If everybody knew about insurance, they wouldn't need you, right? You mentioned that, right? And so if someone has insurance and they want you to review a policy or get some recommendations from you on what they currently have, do you do that, or is it like, okay, it's not renewal time, I'm not going to talk to you, leave me alone? How do you handle that?
No, absolutely. It's the best, especially it never hurts to get a third party opinion, observation, something may have been missed. We always appreciate the opportunity, and I like to help people out. Again, it's not about bottom dollar. Sit down with somebody, walk them through the coverage, maybe offer a couple suggestions. They go back to their agent, ask to make the changes. I feel good about it. It doesn't, again, it's not about the sale. It's about giving back. And yeah, so that door is always open for people who want that, provide that service.
And if folks want to get in touch with you, Robert, how do they get in touch with you? Is it a website, email, or what? How do they get in touch with you? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so it's Lafaro Insurance Agency.com, or you can give us a call at area code 814-866-5528. But just put in Lafaro Insurance Agency. I don't believe there are any others in the country, so you do that, and all the contact information will be there.
All right, I love it. I love it. And Nick, with Pitch 59, right? For someone's talking, you said we can introduce you to people. Somebody wants to know how that really works. Will you spend the time with them before they like buy something? Will you spend some time to help people understand what you're doing, how it works, and all of that? Do you do that?
Absolutely. We'll even go through and help you write your script for your elevator pitch with you to make sure that you have it down and ready to go. And we want to make sure that you're very confident. The more confident you are in your pitch, the more likely you are to share it. And so we want to make sure that we are that resource for you. And we'll go through a full demo and showing you tutorials on how to be able to use it. We want to make sure that we have that, we provide that support for you as you try to navigate through the platform and see what is available. We want to make sure that we have full support and answer any questions that you have. Absolutely.
And when you say pitch, is it my voice giving the pitch? Or
Yes, it is.
not?
Yeah. It comes in the form of a video. It's like a video digital business card.
But what if I don't want what if I don't want my voice? I want like Mike's voice. Can Mike do that for me? Can we
I mean,
do that?
if you want to do a lip sync, you can do that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's only as recognizable as you make it to be. So it's up to you on how you want to do that. We could even put caption in there for you, whatever you want to do.
Mike, let's try that lip sync thing. Here we go. I'm gonna say Orioles. No, you say Orioles and I'll mouth it out. Ready? All right, here we go. Ravens. Oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up. We said it.
Leon, you're so charismatic. When you get your Pitch 59 card, people need to see the charisma, the magnetism, your personality, your outgoing self. They need to see you. They need to see how groovy you are. Half the
Mike.
time, guys, I ask him how he is. He goes, I'm groovy. I think I'm back watching the Partridge Family or something. I'm groovy.
If you have an elevator pitch, I expect to hear it at least 3 to 4 times during that 1 minute period. So yeah.
All right.
I'll hold you to it.
All right, it's great. I'm going to get in touch with both of you, Nick and Robert. We're going to talk about your businesses because I may have a need. And see, here's an example of networking working right here. Right here. Before we came on the show, I'd never heard of Pitch 59, and I'm listening to you and I'm going, I should contact this guy. And while you guys were in your private conversation there with Mike, I'm thinking maybe I should contact him. I mean, it's kind of going through my head, what do I talk to him about? And then Robert, when you were talking about insurance, I'm like, I just got an insurance payment made on my credit card statement, and I've had that same policy for like 2 years, and I'm like, I don't even know what it's covering. So here's networking, in essence, working right here through NRG. So I'm glad y'all were here. Mike, one more thing before we close out. That
Yes,
event that's going on November 29th, right? This will be the
December,
second December, right? December 29,
December,
right?
December.
This
Yep,
will
yep.
be the second annual NRG showcase where companies can
Showcase.
come
That's it.
on. Yes, I
That's
looked it
it.
up while we were on through the magic of the internet. I went to the YouTube page. I listened to it. It's you, it's me saying, welcome to the first annual NRG showcase. And I said, Mike, we can't say annual until we have the second one. And you said, we're going to have the second one. And I said, great, we'll call it the NRG showcase. I mean, I listened to that. Yes. Our producer Jay is telling me in the ear this was supposed to be a 20-minute show. We're pushing 40 minutes right now. He's giving me the wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. But Mike, we can't do that until we find out one more thing. Nick, do you
Absolutely.
have a favorite football team, Nick?
You ready?
Do I have a
The
favorite football?
Ravens play the 49ers on Christmas night. The final score will be Baltimore Ravens 42, the 49ers 39. Justin Tucker is going to kick a 35-yard field goal with time running out. The Ravens do it. There
I
you
gotta, I
go.
gotta,
Nick
I gotta figure out where to
and
put my
Robert,
money
you heard it
down for a
first.
bet. My gosh.
42-39 Christmas night.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Before I tell you who's really going to win, Nick, tell me, do you have a favorite football team?
I don't necessarily have a favorite, but I really like the Saints.
You like the Saints. Okay. Robert, how about you?
I'm actually rather be playing, and I'm not a football player, so I spend too much time at the desk. No
All
time
right.
for television.
Mike will confirm this that during the last football season on Facebook, as games were happening, like the Ravens were up like 28 nothing to somebody last year, and I said, "Don't worry,
Dolphins.
they're going to lose," and they lost. I'm like the reincarnation of Jimmy the Greek. Look him up if anybody doesn't know him. Look him up. Here's the final score for Christmas evening's game. Ravens playing in San Francisco against the 49ers. It's going to be a blowout. It's not even going to be close. 49ers, 49, 49ers, 49-3. That's our
Oof.
final score. Remember, you heard it right here, folks. Mike, write it down. 49-3.
Just wrote it down. I
Ravens
wrote it
lose.
down. Hey,
You wrote
Robert
it
and Nick,
down, put it in the fire.
we're all gonna text Leon Christmas night, and you're gonna say Mike was much closer. There you
Write the
go.
number down. Text me 443-756-5700. There's the cell number. Christmas night. Text me to tell me, ask me, Leon, how did you know? And then I'll fill you in on the information. Robert, Nick, it's great having you with us on NRG this week. I'm glad you were here. Looking forward to having both of you on the second annual NRG showcase coming up on December 29th. We'll be sure to get more information to you about that. Mike, great show. Thanks for bringing Nick and
Absolutely.
Robert our
Hey,
way.
Robert and Nick, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you both. You guys are impact players in the whole NRG family. Thank you. Thank you, Leon.
All right. And everybody,
Thanks for
thanks
having
again for watching. Thanks for watching NRG this week. I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. To learn more about us, go to the leonthomasgroup.com. We're your partner in all things virtual. Thanks for watching NRG This Week. Here we go.